Welcome, our faithful viewers, to 2Brothers podcast. My name is Vincent Levitt. To the left of me is Malik Ahmad Patterson. Yeah, there you go. Got your smile on the first joke. Boom, we right into it now. We back. We back after a long time of not showing no good videos, but we ain't gonna let that stop us today. So, good brother Malik, talk to the people. What we talking about today?
Well, first off, my entire name, Jonathan. Really? Yeah, we throwing out entire names. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna get right into it. There's a lot. Well, not really a lot that we have to talk about, but we're trying to find a lot that we to cover with no sports and with the lack thereof. But there's been a lot of people showing their ass. Case in point, Ray. If I butcher his name, I really don't care because he doesn't really mean much, and nobody knew who he was until he made this statement. But his name is Ray Cicerelli. He was a NASCAR driver. So what NASCAR announced a few weeks ago was they're banning all Confederate flags and anything that has to do with the Confederacy. They're banning all of it from any type of event that has to do with NASCAR. If the event is sponsored by NASCAR or it's a NASCAR event, you cannot bring any type of Confederate flags or paraphernalia. You can't bring none of that stuff into the grounds, on the courses, none of that. So Ray was up in arms about that, and he said that it was fun while, I'm paraphrasing here because he said it was fun while it lasted. I don't want to race no more because to the people from the South, the flag means a lot to those types of people, and NASCAR is being too political now. I don't even care about the Confederate flag, but the fact that they're banning it is it's too much politics going on, and I'm standing with the people who believe and trust in that flag. Pretty much is the gist of what he said. And I think that he contradicts himself because I believe it's utter, bull. How do you retire from NASCAR? First off, nobody really knew who you were in NASCAR because he never finished. He never finished on the podium, and he had two top 10 finishes his entire career, and he averaged finish in top 28. In the last 2 years of his career, every race he finished top 35.
When you say top podium, he didn't get top three then. He didn't get first, second.
Top three. He never made it to top three. So I'm glad that he retired because now you open up a spot for people who are battling in the under circuits to now move up and take your spot because you weren't doing much with that anyway. I'm pretty sure that your pit crew and whoever sponsored you was looking for a way to kick you out the door eventually anyway because you're just taking up space.
You did for him. Your fireman was coming sooner or later anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the writing on the walls. This is an excuse to get out. But the simple fact that you said that I don't really care for the flag, because this part I did get. He said, I'm not really I don't really care for the flag, but blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. The simple fact that you are stating that you don't care for the flag, but you're fighting for the people who want to hold up this flag. This flag doesn't represent anything American. And I know we're going to make a lot of people upset and a lot of white people mad, but that flag is not American. That flag is back in the day, was trying to destroy what America is now. It was that Confederacy, and that flag was standing for the Confederates versus the Union, and the Union won. And now we still have America as a free country and doing whatever we do now here in America. I mean, America's not good in this current moment, in this current state, because we're still signing petitions, we're still protesting, and we're still fighting for all the lost ones that we have lost due to police brutality. Let me make this clear. We're doing this because of police brutality and wrongful killings. Not even just police brutality, but just wrongful killings of Black people, people of color, people of the LGBTQ community. We're doing this, for everyone, but right now the focal point is police brutality against unarmed Black citizens or armed Black citizens who have a legal right to carry or have a legal right to own a firearm and are killed because they have a legal right to own a firearm. Or they're just wrongfully jumping into people's houses and killing them for no reason, such as Breonna Taylor. Like, you just wrongfully, you got the wrong address, so you're running over people's houses. I'm speaking a whole lot on it. Do you have anything to say about Ray and what he feels about the Confederate flag and retiring?
I bet you he has a Confederate flag tattoo on his butt. That's why he has to get rid of it. That's why he gets out of here, man. I try to add a little bit of humor to this because this is a serious topic. What I never understand is if you say it's not about the flag, if you're not about the Confederate flag, then what was your purpose of leaving, especially since the fact that you didn't accomplish everything that you set out to do? So I'm pretty sure when you joined the NASCAR and the people who sponsored you and shit like that, you wanted to A, make enough money to support your family, B, have at least a decent career so you wouldn't be some no-name when you retired like you did now, or C, have a good time. I'm pretty sure you didn't have a good time not getting in the top three. It's no fun when you get kicked out the club. It's no fun when you got to sit outside the club and you can't get in. Chris Brown reference.
But exactly. I don't know. Maybe it's just the competitive nature in me, but I know that if you're not first, you're last. Second place is nothing but first loser.
Right.
That's the way I've been taught. That's the way I've always felt my whole life. I know I'm my biggest critic when it comes to sports and when it comes to competing and competition. And I know I don't have the Michael Jordan mentality. We're not about to play all night long until I win. That's just not me. But I do have that competitive nature. I do have that drive. I am a very competitive person if you ask my friends and you ask my family. Because whenever it comes to competition, my ears go up. I'm always the first one. I'm on go. But you don't even have, you never accomplished anything career-wise that put your mark on anything. If Ray was just to retire, nobody would miss Ray because nobody knows Ray. Nobody knows who you are. And it's also funny how, his last name was an Italian last name, but he's defending that's neither here nor there. So
he's fighting the wrong battles, clearly.
We can move on to, I believe it's Chuba Hubbard.
Hey, Chuba Hubbard.
Chuba Hubbard. Okay, so there's two parts to this. What Chuba saw was he saw his coach, Mike Gundy, because Chuba is the star running back of Oklahoma State.
He's hell of a season last year.
Yeah, he had a really, really good season last year. He's projected to go, I believe, no later than the second round, and there's not a whole lot of running backs. So he might go late first round.
Top running back off the board though.
Yeah, he's going to be the top running back coming off the board this year. Mm-hmm. So once he saw his coach, and it was a white T-shirt, and on the T-shirt it had, I don't know the name of the radio station, but it was a radio station that is pretty much that is known for criticizing Black Lives Matter, criticizing a lot of just stuff that goes on. We're not really political, but they're very I want to say, I don't even know the difference between the leftist and the rightist, but anyway, it's very anti what's going on. It's very anti of the movement that is going on and what we're trying to do and the changes that we are trying to make. So with that being said, he said that he was going to disconnect himself from the university, and he's not going to be on the team no more, and pretty much just disassociated himself with the team. Hours later, about 7 hours later, there was a video of him and that same coach in what appeared to be the locker room, because you saw all the greats on the wall behind them, and they were standing side by side, and the coach gave his nonchalant apology, and then Chuba gave his 2 cents of, I should have came to him as a man instead of going to social media.
Remorse, so to speak.
Yeah. And this is changes will be made. We're going to correct this right now and right here and have a different standard of what Oklahoma State football is moving forward, so to speak.
Yeah, that half-ass response was fishy. It's more or less like he did it out of preserve his job instead of like from the bottom of my heart and a sincere apology. That's the take I got from that. It's surprising though, because you wouldn't really expect you wouldn't expect he's a star. Let's be honest, he's a star running back for a prominent Power 5 team prominent team in the Power 5 conference. So you wouldn't expect to hear saying a running back that I'm about to disassociate myself from the team that provides a lot of what's it called? It provides a lot of notoriety, especially if you want to get to the league. So just hearing that, how far he was willing to go was very. I want to say I don't want to use Kaepernick as the example, but he was leaning towards that direction of what he stood for. He was willing to risk everything for what he stands for, for social justice, for what he believes is right. So I do commemorate Chuba. I can't even think I'm saying it right. I apologize for that, but I do commemorate him for his actions about that. But
yeah, I just think I understand about the whole, like, I don't accept his coach's apology. His coach was about to lose his best player that he had in a really long time, if not ever, depending on how this season goes. So I understand, like, I know why the coach immediately contacted him and, tried to butter him back up and re-recruit him back on the team pretty much. And my only gripe with Chuba or Chuba, however you pronounce it, is you are a hot commodity, and your coach knows that, the school knows that, the Big 12 knows that, everybody in college football knows that. So I understand why you went back, because you might potentially hurt your draft stock, blah, 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 instead of sitting out for the year, because you technically have to play 3 years. So I get it. And I wish, like, if there wasn't that whole you have to sit out a year when you transfer, I would have liked to have seen him transfer. But to me, I wouldn't have been so forgiving. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion, because it's the same thing with the whole Drew Brees situation. You did what you did. You stood on whatever you stood on, because we ain't been fighting this fight just in 2020.
This is
We've been fighting this fight for equality in America for a really long time, for 400 some odd years. Mm-hmm. And we've been very vocal and active about it since, like, really the 60s, since the whole segregation thing. But as of recently, it kind of died down, but we really ain't been as prominent in the media about it since 2014 was when we really stirred up being so vocal and active about what's going on. Mm-hmm. But really 2012 to 2014 and on. So
it's like our voice in the media wasn't really as prominent as it is now. We didn't have as many athletes. We didn't have as many stars in the world talking about their life as being, let's be real, being part of the minority. They talk about it.
They know, as white people, they know that they need us. They need us who are of African descent, because not everybody's African American, but who are of African descent or who are people of color. They need us who are prominent in these sports on their side, because we could essentially, this is going to sound real radical right now, but we could essentially make our own sports everything. We can make our own football, our own basketball, our own baseball, whatever, and move all the athletes over. It won't be as prominent, and we won't make as much money, of course. So that's why, probably one of the main reasons why we'll never do it, and it won't be as televised. But the level of talent will be way better if it was to be separated. So that's why we know that they need these people, such as, like, the South is still extremely racist, but we know that these big schools in the South, such as Alabama, such as Clemson, such as Florida, need Auburn, need these black players to play for these prominent programs. And I've never been like anti like these programs, and I've never been like, I don't know, I just recently started to like adjust my thinking towards these programs. But if would I have loved to play for these programs? Yes. I'm not gonna lie to you and say that no, I've always wanted to play for HBCU. Like I've always wanted to play at USC. That's always been my dream school. So, but I don't know. That's just my just expressing. I mean, we got 2 weeks to make up for talking, so I'm just going.
Shoot, it was more or less. Have you ever thought of it like this? Clemson, because you said it. That was a good example. That had the fact that literally they had the majority of people was having a parade, the parade having the Confederacy flag all over their cars, walking down the street, being very proud and like prideful. Well, I guess that's probably what the NASCAR driver we were talking about earlier. I guess that's what he was talking about, how this shit means a lot to them. Mm-hmm. But they basically they are what's the word? What's the better word? Point of the matter is they are informing everybody how the Confederate flag, and they're showing their love and their love for it. Mm-hmm. But if I will admit, if I don't think if everybody was to do exactly what Chuba Herbert, is that his name? Mm-hmm. If everybody was to do what Chuba Herbert did, then I see about a good 85 to 90% of all NCAA football just quitting. If everybody was to everybody was to take a stand on the matter of what's going on right now. Mm-hmm. So that got my mind thinking about how would the NCAA recover from this? How would sports itself recover from something like that, something that major? Because if you got to admit, if one sport does it, all the other sports are soon to follow. You're gonna see basketball do this, take that same route, and this may be more than 90%.
I think basketball is a little bit different. I think basketball, out of all the major big sports, basketball has been the most progressive out of all the major sports. Now, baseball might have the most diversity. It was a toss-up between baseball and basketball, who has the most diversity. We start looking at people in the NBA and where they're from, like worldwide. I can understand you saying basketball might have that one leg up, because there's a bunch of people from Serbia, from Lithuania, from all these other places playing in the NBA. But for baseball, you have a lot of people from the Caribbeans and from South America playing in Mexico, and as long as different parts of America playing in the MLB as well. So I believe those two sports are the most progressive when it comes to diversity. When it comes to like hearing and speaking on matters that really mean something, I believe that the NBA and the NCAA, well, not really NCAA. The NCAA is kind of behind, which is why the NBA is doing all these things to kind of get rid of the NCAA without necessarily getting rid of them, but trying to force them to, hey, come on, we're in a new time. We got to update these rules. We got to do these different things. But it's a really good transition, and I'm going to just briefly touch on this. We don't have to spend a lot of time on it. But have you heard of this kid named Mikey Williams? I was planning on saving this, but we're on such a good roll. Have you heard of this kid named Mikey Williams from
Come on.
I want to say he played at Palisades High School?
See, I figured some school. It's not a school in California. That's what I figured.
He's from California. He's from down in the San Diego area. I can't remember the name of the high school right now.
Probably next to like Oceanside or San Marcos, in that area.
It's like I believe it's in El Centro.
Okay.
But anyway, he's 14, turning 15. He played his rookie. Wow. He played freshman year this past season. And what he said was, because he's projected to be the number one draft pick of his class. Like a bunch of people have gone to his games, watched him play. Like LeBron's gone, YG is gone. A bunch of celebrities have gone and watched this kid play because he's just so dominant for being so young. And I didn't realize how. I'm not saying that a lot of these young players aren't smart, but this kid has a really good head on his shoulders, and I commend his parents. He made a statement a few weeks ago, and his statement was pretty much like, I'm just going to paraphrase it because it was a long statement, but he was pretty much saying that what we need to do as a community, as a Black community, is if you're a star and if you have talent, then they're going to find you anywhere. And what I plan to do is, he said he planned on going to a HBCU instead of going to like a Power 5 conference and playing his 1 year. He's only going to get 1 year.
Right. He only needs 1 year.
At the rate that he's going, he may not even, and at the rate that he's going, he may do what these dudes are doing in the G League this upcoming year. He may not even go to college. He may just do that 1 year in the G League and go straight to the league, depending on how that pans out by the time he gets to college, because we got 3 more years before he's actually doing that. But as of right now, he said he plans on going to an HBCU, playing his 1 year at the HBCU, because there is Division I HBCU, so he can still make the NCAA tournament if he carries that in that HBCU through the conference and through their conference championships and has a really good winning record. He can make it to March Madness and make a splash in March Madness. So I thought it was really interesting of him to make that stance and to say, we're not going to, pretty much what he's saying is, I'm not going to take my likeness and my talent to these schools down south or to these Power 5 schools, to these predominantly white institutions, and I'm not going to give them my likeness. I'm going to give my likeness to a Black school where I'm appreciated, essentially, which I thought was pretty interesting of him.
Sure, you don't really see much of that. It's like I commemorate him, even if he does choose to do that. You know, like you said, he could go off into the G League, and I wouldn't hate his decision. He will be of age to do what is right for him and his family. Mm-hmm. But I will definitely commemorate him because he's making splash like how D'Angelo and LaMelo did when they was at Chino Hills basketball. They was prominent. They became very well known at an early age. I believe their sophomore and freshman year when they really started to take over. He's doing the same thing. The difference is he's going to use his platform or his talents to, I would say, start a new trend, so to speak. Because he has a talent to actually do well if he does choose to go to these HBCU schools. So I don't expect him to falter when he gets there, because you say the lack of talent may be an issue, but like he said best, talent. If you have talent, the scouts, the professional team, they will come and find you because they will need that type of talent on their team.
Mm-hmm. And it goes to show, and with that, there's going to be a slight rebuttal to the whole talent thing. Now, what he says is completely true. If you have the talent and if you work hard enough, they will find you anywhere, which is true. But with that being said, if he does it, we need more people to do it, because there's still going to be a lot of like top recruited kids who are still going to go to Duke, who are still going to go to North Carolina. North Carolina is still going to be my favorite college basketball team. I'm not going to change because one kid said he wants to go to HBCU. That's just my personal opinion, but there's still going to be top recruits going to these predominantly white institutions, and I'm not going to falter them from going to these institutions and from playing for these big-name schools and for these big-name coaches, because some of these coaches do advocate for certain issues. I'm not going to, go on a whole rant about it, but then also with that being said, some of them need that big institution. They need, as of right now, only as of right now, not in the future, because we don't know what the future holds. We might see a shift in HBCUs, but as of right now, they might need that big name program to help propel their draft stock so they can go and make a change in their community, make a change for their family. Because you're the only one. Out of all of us, you just so happen, I'm just grabbing a random person, and it's nobody in particular, but out of the entire family on your mom and dad's side, you're the only one that came out 6'7". You're the only one that can ball. You've been dunking since you was in 7th grade. You got all these college coaches trying to recruit you. You got Nike knocking on your door, Under Armour, Adidas knocking on your door, even though you're not in college yet, but they're just saying like, wait, whatever. And you coming from the projects. So I'm not going to fault that kid coming from the projects going to a predominantly white institution such as Michigan State, playing for Coach Tom Izzo, or going to UCLA, going to any of these big name college programs, or going to Michigan and playing for Juwan Howard in Michigan. I'm not going to fault him for that because he is the only route for the entire family, maybe for the entire community. Now, if he gives back or does whatever for the community, that's on him. That's his agenda. That's his prerogative. But I'm not going to fault him for going and trying to be better than what he is and make that change. I can't fault him for that.
Shoot, he's at the end of the day. He still has to feed his family. This may be his only chance to be a millionaire. You got to take the right steps to make that dream of yours happen. So
exactly. And then, as we're still on basketball, we can transition onto Kyrie Irving and Dwight Howard. So what Kyrie Irving said was, he pretty much said, I don't want to go to Orlando and we be in this bubble hub and play for 3 months starting in that was a good burp. Supposed to start in July. And he said, I don't want to do this hub. It sounds fishy. Like it's too much going on. Then plus on top of that, like what's going on with our community, I don't want to do it. And I respect him for saying that. Point being is because if you look at the NBA Players Association, he is a vice president. So regardless of what any fan or reporter has to say about it, you have to respect what Kyrie is saying only because he's a vice president of the Players Association. Mm-hmm. So he's not Chris Paul, because Chris Paul's the president. Andre Iguodala is the first vice president. And then there's other vice presidents as well. There's like 3 more vice presidents, including Kyrie.
Yeah. 5 altogether.
So 5 vice presidents? Are we including Andre or are we not including Andre?
We are. So I don't know them all by name, but we got Andre, Kyrie, and 3 more. I just don't know their names.
I think it's Jaylen Brown. No. Is it Jaylen Brown? I believe it's Jaylen Brown. I can't Bismack Biyombo, and
I think it has to be like somebody. It has to be veterans at least. It can't be like somebody who's still on a rookie contract. I just can't remember.
There's one more. I can't remember who it is, but they're all black, and he's one of the vice presidents. So I have to, me as a future reporter, I have to respect his stance. I have to respect what he says, whether I agree or disagree. And then Dwight Howard elaborated on Kyrie's point, because now there's a bunch of like fishing going on because Kyrie really didn't make like a full blown statement, and he hasn't really like fully elaborated past what he originally said. But there's been rumors and talks here and there about, oh, he left a group message that was supposed to elaborate on blah, blah, blah. It's a lot of rumors. I'm just trying to give you what has actually been said. And Dwight Howard made a statement not too long ago, and his statement is summarizing that was he agreed with Kyrie, and he agrees that right now sports and entertainment shouldn't be a focal point. What should be a focal point is fixing our communities, fixing what's going on, and we should unite as a community, as a Black community, and try to work towards the future and work towards fixing the issues and the problems. Mm-hmm. So that's why we shouldn't be playing basketball right now, even though I really would love to win my first championship, because, Lakers will win if we do come back and play. He said, I think that this is more important. My only statement is I completely agree with them, and I completely agree. Not completely agree. I agree with them on the stance of they don't want to take away from what's going on, and they don't want to take away from the protesting and everything else.
Right.
The issue is, my only rebuttal to that is you can make the platform bigger by playing and by raising awareness, by doing things in solidarity, like as they're singing the national anthem, by taking a seat or by taking a knee or wearing all Black T-shirts. But you can do subtle things that are dig at these people, that'll be a constant reminder. in your post-game interviews, you could not even talk about basketball. Talk about what's going on. Talk about what's going on in your community. Talk about how you guys are donating, helping. You can do all that. There's ways to be in the limelight and still shine light, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Another issue with it was these things aren't going to go away tomorrow. These things aren't going to go away in the next year, following years. We'll be lucky if we see significant change within the next 5 years. We're trying to take 400 years of oppression, of slavery, of a lot of different things and trying to make it right.
Yeah, at least
we're starting to see progress, but it's a lot that we have to cover. So we may not even see a complete turnaround in our lifetimes. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you mean.
That we need to cancel everything is not realistic, because if we do that, we'll never have sports again.
I see what you mean. He's basically referring to is that he don't want this sports to be a distraction and take away from what's actually been all the movement and progression that's been going on. You know, this is the most amount of social change and social change that we've had. People even been talking about since like we talked about over the past, I'd say 40 years during the whole segregation, separate but equal, during that timeline. So he said when he doesn't want to return back to basketball, I agree to that solely because I was thinking about it more from a sports perspective. You don't want to go back to sports. Okay, I understand. But the fact that this is probably your best chance to actually win a championship since 2008 when he was on Orlando Magic. Granted, they weren't going to win that. All right, let me see. I
think it was 2009 because we won in 2009 and in 2010. No, yeah, it was 2009 because the Celtics won in 2008.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So first off the rip, fuck those guys. Off the rip. But like that's what I mean. This is his best chance. This is probably gonna be his best chance to even win the championship, and the championship still gonna have an asterisk behind it. You know, the whole COVID kicked in. Sports was they gonna I believe 2 month hiatus.
Hold on, coach. I need a 30-second timeout real quick. If the Lakers win a championship, there's no asterisk by it. I'm not saying that because I'm a Lakers fan. I'm saying that because we have the best team in basketball. But continue.
All right, coach, back in. Press the pause button. Yeah, take that off now. Back game on. But you get my point though. Like is if they do win it, you know, we all power to the Lakers. One more ring to the collection. Mm-hmm. But if he was to say how sports shouldn't return back in general, that probably would be the cutoff to that part. I do see your standpoint about that. So let me ask you this now. So if more players was to agree with Kyrie Irving, was to agree with Dwight Howard and say, I just don't want to return back to the NBA no more. All right, we should just cancel this and bounce back to the next year. All right, continue next season. Do you think this is something that the NBA can recover from solely because they are losing money, as that's the issue. That is a definitely issue. But will they still have the same amount of fans, or will it just be the equivalent of No Nut November? We can't wait till December to roll around. Can't wait for December to come through.
I believe all sporting events will bounce back. All major sporting franchises and organizations and associations will bounce back from this, because going so long without sports, once we're able to go back to actually playing and all of that, and actually going back to not having the social distance, would be in arenas and have fans there, everything's going to sell out. So even if we don't play the rest of this season and we wait till next season and we play, and then next season we start to play and we get rid of Corona, because they say it's supposed to come back around October, November, which is around the same time NBA season starts up again. So who knows? But if we do so happen to get rid of Corona and we don't have to social distance and we can actually be in stadiums, it's going to sell out everything. The money's going to come back. So I'm not worried about these big franchises losing out on money. My only thing is, for the players who say that they don't want to play the rest of the season, why don't you want to play the rest of the season? Is it because you're scared of actually contracting the virus? Because if you're scared of contracting the virus, I'm 100% with you. I completely agree. It's a scary time. We're all supposed to be in this bubble, but some of y'all already had the virus. Rudy Gobert, and he's supposed to be one of the people that's supposed to come back in this big bubble. Like, I understand if you don't want to be in this hub for 3 months with all these players. I get that. So if you're scared to come back because you're scared of contracting something, or you're scared of passing on the virus onto other players or onto family members, I understand. But if you don't want to play because of, like, you want to raise awareness to what's going on, you could do both. We can do both simultaneously. Mm-hmm. It would be better if you guys, maybe, I'm not saying it would be better if you guys played, because I'm not the one to tell you, shut up and dribble basketball. I don't really, that's not me. That's not my MO. That's never been me. If you don't want to play because you don't want to play, I'm perfectly fine with that. You got enough money to where you can retire right now. All of them can retire right now and have a livable life.
I don't know. Some of them was living like MC Hammer, man. They kind of need this.
That's not my problem. You made that decision with your money. That's not my problem. I'm just saying, you have the money and everything. So I don't know.
That took the quote. You took the quote away from me with that one. The fact that just shut up and dribble. I don't even know the reporter name or the person name who said that, but she was basically cutting off. I believe it was LeBron James, just have him shut up and dribble. Mm-hmm. But we were going to use this platform, the playoff platform for the NBA to bring awareness to everything that's going on, or at least shine, like you said, the limelight onto everybody else, or to the social justice movement. It's more prominent than what the players who are disagreeing, who don't want to return, than they're letting go. So, yeah, if once they return, once we start talking more about it, we'll see how people's true intentions are a little bit more pronounced. People's true intentions have become more enforced. There you go.
I get you.
Yeah, leave my vocabulary out of this.
Let's do this. Okay. And it's a go.
All right. So.
Oh, okay, there we go. So, we got the NFC West. Who are we starting with?
Start with the sexy females. Say it. Do it. Come on. I know you want to do it. SF.
That's ugly.
I know. Yeah.
I really didn't even know what she was talking about, because I was like, what?
Sexy females. That's literally what they stand for to me.
That's weird. Okay.
When you think of somebody wearing that hat, that's what I think of. Right here.
All right. Anyway, so we got the Cardinals, Jets. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say, right here, I mean, we can continue, but no 3 games are going to be more of a test than these 3 games right here.
All back to back too. Back to back.
Yeah, at home versus Green Bay and in New Orleans. I see 2 losses right here. I'm not going to lie.
At worst or at best?
1 loss at best. 2 losses at worst.
So yeah, I don't see them
have like a significant just drop off, and last year was a fluke. Then I see 3 losses if last year was a fluke, which I don't think it is, because they still have Robert Salah, or however you say that, the defensive coordinator's name. And yeah, they lost a couple defensive pieces, but
they retooled up in the draft. They retooled up a little bit in free agency. They fixed I believe it was an O-lineman that retired, but they ended up getting a new piece right back to fit him in, depending on how well he does. Time will tell. But like you said, I don't see them going 3-0 through this stretch. I definitely don't even see them going 2-1. I see them taking an L. I see them taking the L just because it's a rivalry game and it's in Seattle, but
losing in the 12th man for sure.
But then it comes up to week 9 and 10. Do Does Aaron Rodgers get it done? Which I do see him. I do see him avenging that loss from last year. But then week 10, and that's for sure a loss because it's going to be a low scoring game, especially if the Saints can click on high cylinders and actually get not necessarily get the job done, but more or less they find the weakness. If they can really legit shut down their main threat, who I believe is George Kittle, then they should make this a low scoring game.
Yeah, I think I agree with you because I think that each one of these three teams want they get back at this team.
Mm-hmm. They all want they get back.
All three of these games, these three teams right here got this game circled because I want retribution.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get in that part. But I want to like
I want that.
But yeah, I do see it going that way. So what do you think their overall record is going to be?
Overall record is I mean it's not like a toss up, but it's a question I've kind of been waiting to ask. Do you feel that the quarterback for Jimmy G, do you still think he still has some type of resentment for getting kicked out of the Patriots at New England?
Nah.
He moved past that. He grown up.
Yeah, I think so.
Because if they lose week 7, I do feel like it's gonna weigh on their heads for a long time. It's gonna.
But I see them looking at the schedule. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, potentially 5, 6.
Ooh.
I see them going 10-6 or 11-5.
Okay, all right.
I'll go ahead and say
losses that you're talking about.
I think they're losing both games to Seattle, so I'm gonna go ahead and say they go 10-6 this season, which can drop off from going 13-3. Go from 13-3 to 10-6. That's a big drop off.
Yeah, but they're still making the playoffs. They're still making the play. They may not have the number 1 record in their division, but they're still making the playoffs, especially with the 7 teams that are now allowed in. I see them going 11-5. Like you said, I do see them losing to Seattle, but mainly in week 8. Like the next time they're going to play against Seattle is going to be in week 17, and by then they're supposed to be firing on all cylinders. This is 1 week away from the playoffs. Either you get it right then, or you don't get it right at all. So.
And they're playing Seattle at home. And if Seattle win enough games, Seattle might they'll still have their starters play, but they might kind of coast it.
Right. They bring them out after the first quarter type thing.
Yeah, first quarter, first half, depending on like where they're sitting in the playoff race. They have the number 2 or number 3 seed in all of the playoffs locked up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to keep Russell Wilson in all 4 quarters because why would I do that when we got to turn around? If we're the number, let's say they get the number 2 seed locked up. Usually last year we would have a bye next week because
not the case this year.
Wild card. But now there's a number 2 seed. We don't have a bye, and I'd rather have him more healthy for that spot, that first round in the playoffs versus the number 17, versus the number 7th seed, than having him play all 4 quarters in week 17, unless they go down to the wire and their records are like neck and neck like it was last year, and they have to play.
You also got to think about like seeding too. Like, do we match up better against this? What do you call it? Does the team match up better against this? The 7-seeded team, or do we match up better against the 6-seeded team? You can think about that as well. Then they could determine like, all right, we can afford to lose this game, or you know what, we should keep our standings where we at. So that's it's going to determine a lot with this game.
Strategy that you just brought up that comes into play a lot because now everybody was buying for the top 2 spots because you get a bye. Everybody wants a bye first round. Everybody wants to go straight to the divisional round. Nobody wants to play a wild card game. But now that number 2 team has to play in a wild card game. That number 6 seed might be on fire. They might have started off slow and just had a slow start, and they might be on fire. I may not want to play the number 6 seed. I may want to play the number 7 seed, so I might want to win. That way we're staying at number 2, and we play the 7 seed, and then whoever's number 3 seed has to play against that fire hot number 6 seed, or vice versa. Number 7 seed might be on fire. Number 6 seed might just be in a just average or being what everybody thought they were going into the playoffs, and you might have the edge over a certain team.
Exactly, like how last year was. Nobody wanted to play against Tennessee. That two-headed monster was kind of dangerous. I'm pretty sure the Patriots can attest to that. So
Baltimore can attest to that, but
I was gonna leave Lamar Jackson intact right now.
I love him. He got the cover of Madden. Hopefully, this whole Madden curse thing is reversed because Mahomes just won a Super Bowl. Brady went to the Super Bowl, lost. Thank you, but he won MVP, which he shouldn't have won. Carson Wentz should have had MVP. I don't care. He was injured week 11, week 12.
He just somehow ends up getting hurt every year.
We had the number 1 record in the NFL going into that week that he lost, and we still won that game. Even though he got hurt, we still won.
Hey, this is not a topic about the Eagles, sir. That's what we're talking about. LA Rams, motherfucker.
We're gonna get to it. Look at that. Look at how ugly this is. This is ugly.
It's like you would think, coming from St. Louis to California, you would have some like better, I would say better logos and better color. Don't get me wrong. I like the blue and what they tried to do was the blue and gold.
Well, they tried to go back to their old school style of how they were before they left LA. Mm-hmm. But I like going back with the retro, but I don't like how it's retroed.
Oh, it's all.
Actually, I'm not gonna lie. I do like the fading of the yellow to the white. That's the only thing I like about their new jerseys is how it fades from yellow to white right here.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I don't like the cream colored white with the yellow. It's just ugly. Anyway, on to the Rams.
LA Rams. This is gonna be easy.
We got 3 losses off the bat. If we're being honest.
Yes, yeah, okay, yeah. Because
they might have 3 losses right there.
At worst, yeah. That's it can't get no worse than that. Their first win might come from New York.
Let's not go around the bush here. I'm gonna get straight into it.
Because they didn't do enough. They didn't do enough to fix the trade pieces that they made, or to basically, yeah, that's a better word to call it. Re-up from how they did 2 years prior. They haven't done enough.
Do we want these 3 games?
Buffalo will hurt them.
Actually, no. Scratch that. Let's go these 3 games. These 3 games right here. We can go the first 3 games of the season, or we can go these 3 games. I'm gonna go with these 3.
Okay, let's hear it.
Potential number 2 through 4 seed, 5 through 6, 5 through 6 in the playoffs right here.
Seattle, 49ers, and Bucks.
Yeah.
I mean, Bucks on the AFC, but that's still a playoff team. You still got to show your mettle and competitive fire if you actually want to make noise in the playoffs. And I'm pretty sure that's what every team wants to do. But it doesn't look that well. Their schedule does not favor them at all. I would say like their easiest team that they're going to play against has to be either between the Giants or the Dolphins. But
it's like Dolphins scheduled. Have you noticed that almost every team we covered so far has the Dolphins scheduled somewhere? It's either preseason or regular season. Everybody plays the Dolphins this year. It seems like
trying to be nice. They're trying to be nice and try to give them an easy win. Problem is, every team won't capitalize on it.
I guess. Okay, well, I do think these 3 games are potential losses. And for being completely honest, I'm not a Rams hater. I'm indifferent about the Rams. I didn't really care for them, especially that year that they was all so good. Oh, the Rams is back. Rams about to bring a Super Bowl to LA, blah, blah. I knew they was going to win. But anyway,
It's,
I
just,
would agree with you.
it's funny to me how those two quarterbacks got drafted, Goff and Wentz, and Goff went to the Super Bowl first, right?
No, Wentz did and won.
Yeah, there it is. But who got drafted first though?
Goff.
My point exactly. You seeing their contracts, their career is always going to be entwined, just like how I'm gonna say Tua and
Burrow.
I said it's gonna come to me. Just like how those two careers are intertwined, but difference is, who got the better deal.
I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with you. I see them going 6-10 at best.
Yeah, because I see from it. I see the wins. Like they're going to be in a dogfight with Buffalo, defensive game. They're going to be in the same thing with the Niners. And like there's nothing. Their division is not an easy division. You got to play the Niners and Seattle twice, and that's 2 losses right there. That's 4 losses right there.
They have potentially. It's between them. Actually, the easiest division in the NFC is the North, because you got the Vikings, and then I would have said the Bears 2 years ago because they went 12-4, but then last year they did horrible. So you got the Vikings at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else.
I'll say they at the top, but
in the East you have the Eagles at the top. Then the Cowboys right underneath them. The Eagles slip up, and it's the Cowboys, and then it's the Eagles. Just keeping it. I'm just keeping it like.
It's been like that for years. Like I don't even remember when the last time any type of division had more than 12 wins. I don't even remember when that happened. It's been a while.
We did when we went to the Super Bowl.
Been a while.
It's been 2 years. 3 years.
Statement.
Anyway, in the South, you have the Buccaneers, and you have the Saints and the Buccaneers right underneath them. Buccaneers are a new team. It's a new form Buccaneers, but all they needed was a few more pieces to be really good. Hell, if they got all these pieces with Jameis Winston still the quarterback, they would have been really good. All he needed was he really just needed one more year under Bruce Arians to really mold him into a really good quarterback, because he had glimpses of him being a really star quarterback.
He should have got that LASIK eye surgery a little bit earlier.
I don't know, but yeah, I see them going 6-10. I don't know where these 6 wins gonna come from, but I see them going 6-10. Actually, let's see.
I see the wins. Like you got New York, you got Washington, you got the Bears, maybe you got Miami, maybe you got Cardinals. Maybe they're gonna get a win out of Arizona, and the Jets it's gonna be a toss up. So I was gonna say
7 versus the Patriots, maybe 7.
I had them getting 6 wins. I had them with 6.
Okay, well, we can move on because
it was fun while it lasted for that team.
Let's go on to the Cardinals. I like their addition of DeAndre Hopkins. Scratch that. I love DeAndre Hopkins going.
So now we're actually going to start showing this team a little bit more credit now, or are we going to keep dog walking them?
I'm a dog walker. They're not making the playoffs no time soon.
You don't think so? You don't think they're making the playoffs? I
got to see significant change in that defense, and I got to see significant growth for Kyler Murray to make the playoffs. Making the playoffs in the NFC is hard.
All right. Yeah, you're not wrong about that.
It's really hard to make the playoffs in the NFC. You got to win. To make the playoffs in the NFC, you got to win 10 games. If you're not winning 10 games, don't even think about playoffs. Playoffs?
This is where you have like you got the Allen Iverson meme right now, talking about this shit. You got a face of him just saying that. You can have the coach, that coach who says that he had like his whole lip flared up and everything.
Not the game I die for. We talking about practice. What are we talking about, man? We talking about practice, man. if you really if people really have done their research behind that whole video, it wouldn't have been as demeaning on Allen Iverson's character as it was if you really knew that he just lost somebody he was really close to.
Exactly.
If you really dig deep into what really happened, you really understand what he's talking about. Because it's if I lost one of my close friends, God forbid, I'm not going to practice. I'm not going to work. I'm not doing nothing. I'm grieving, let alone talking in a press conference. I would have told, you know what? I'm trying to keep it PG. So what I really wanted to tell the media. But anyway, let's get back to this.
Yeah, let's get back to the Arizona Cardinals. What's it called? If all the way up to week 10, I see them going 6-3. I see them going 6-3. You know, they may falter with the Niners, but they're gonna go on a good stretch. They're gonna go 4-1 all the way leading up to the Cowboys. They may mess up there. They may get another loss to Seattle, but after that, they're right back into it. They're gonna bounce back.
Oh.
It's gonna be those last stretch of games if they can really finish off the season. That will be the determining factor if they can make the playoffs.
I see 2 losses in these last 3 games. Maybe even 3 losses.
You got to start putting your team on the pedestal, man.
We can't beat the Cardinals.
Y'all can't beat the Cardinals, but y'all don't deserve to make the playoffs. That's the old team, remember?
They're projecting us
and Larry Fitzgerald
number 2 in all of the NFC right now. They're not every reporter has us being top 3 in the entire NFC right now. And you think we're gonna lose to the Cardinals?
The number 3 team in the division? Yeah. Like I said, they better hope they get everything under order. Otherwise.
Anyway, I got them going 8-8 this season, which is a step up from 5-10-1. I got them going 8-8.
Exactly. They're going to make the biggest jump. I had them going 9-7.
That's a big jump. Okay.
They made the playoffs this year. They kicked the Rams out. They became the 3rd best team in the division, which, might I add, is a very strong division. You can't say this is not a strong division.
Nah, it's a really strong division. Each divisional game, because each team, because the Rams are this close to turning the tide around and being a really strong team and maybe making the playoffs.
Maybe.
It's not like they really lost a whole lot of pieces. Jared Goff just sucks. So they're this close to being good again. So this is a really, really strong division. Because if the Rams turn the tide, we can see that, how you said a couple weeks ago, we can see that 3 playoff team from one division, from one conference. Or division in the conference.
Yeah, I got you.
But, okay, so time to go to the team we've
didn't want to talk about?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's more or less I'm
not going to lie to you. What the heck just happened? Oh, okay, here we go. I really like the Seattle team because they didn't lose anybody, really.
I think the last time they really lost, you would question if they can make the playoffs again was when they blew up the Legion of Boom. That's when the last time they truly lost.
And they still made the wild card.
Yeah, they still did what they needed to do. They didn't make to the champ. They made the Super Bowl. That's probably what was their end all be all goal. But
Russell Wilson has made the playoffs every year he's been in the league, and I don't think people talk about it enough.
So it brings up my question I asked you a week ago. Top 3 quarterback, is that Russell Wilson now? Now, when I say top 3, I'm not talking about just accolades. I'm not talking just about skill. I'm talking about everything he does for his team and his community. Is he a top 3? Top 3.
Yeah, top 3 in the league right now.
Yeah. I'm glad we can agree on something.
It's Wentz, Rodgers, him.
God damn it. I'm not throwing Wentz in that conversation yet. Not good.
That's a valuable argument. I just made a valuable argument.
He has not. All right. You know what? I deserve this. It's my fault. You did just name every other teams do have all three of those players do have championship rings. They do got the goal to match.
So it's not in the top 5. Actually, you have to answer that right now. We'll get to that in a later date.
He's in the top 5. I'm not taking that away from him. I'm taking away from the fact he gets hurt every year.
Hey! Why are you loud?
He's like the Avatar in the beginning of.
Why are you so loud? But why are you loud though?
Because you will stop putting your team on a pedestal if I can't put my team on a pedestal.
You did it until we talked about your team.
Bro, I can plead the fifth much.
So
all I'm saying is you don't gotta yell, all right? I can hear you very nicely. Point of the matter is Wentz is a top five quarterback, not a top 3.
Anyway.
Give me a full season, then give me a full season with some at least 5,000 yards passing. Then I'll give him his credit.
He has 5,000 yards passing. He's the greatest quarterback of all.
But until then,
I don't see 3.
We'll see how about this season.
I don't see 3 hard games back to back, like in a row.
Nah, you're right. I feel like they got to worry about more of those trap games. They got to worry about the trap games instead, like how Week 16. That Week 16 is going to be a trap game leading into San Francisco.
Okay, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that one. I can see these 3 are kind of rough because you have to beat the Rams. You got to beat the Rams and you got to at least beat the 49ers at home because both of them
at some point in time in playoffs. It's like that's another thing you got to think about. These teams that do make the playoffs that come from the same division, you would think they would have they would want to have like a winning, at least some type of. They at least want to get one game out of them, because if they do play against each other in the playoffs, if you got to play against a team that you lost to twice, it's gonna be very hurtful when you do play against them that time in the playoffs.
I see them going 12-4 this season.
That's about where I was looking at them too. Is this, Niners are going to be that game that they could lose. They may falter with the like one of these trap games, like I said, with the Rams. Eagles, I'll let that one go for now. That's 13. That's 3 losses, and then another one. Okay, maybe the Vikings, Week 5. So yeah, 12-4. I see that. I see that for them season. That's still not a bad season. You got that's like second, maybe third seeding. But you got home court. You got home field advantage going into playoffs. At least for that game 1, or that what do you call it? wild card week.
Mm-hmm.
You got a home field advantage,
which is really hard to play in the 12th man. Just saying, like they call it the 12th man for a reason. It's a really hard place to play at. But I think that is it. This has been another edition of 2 Brothers Podcast. I'm your boy Malik. It's your boy Jonathan over there. And we're going to be out of here, folks. And don't forget, Carson Wentz has a better career than Andrew Luck and Rivers combined.